They said the base was a place where respect was earned, not given. Concrete buildings baked under the desert sun, steel watchtowers standing like silent judges, and hundreds of boots marching in rhythm every morning. This was forward operating base Kestrel, a place that broke the weak and exposed the arrogant. Captain Alyssa Morgan stepped onto the training ground with her helmet tucked under her arm, dust clinging to her boots. She had learned long ago to ignore the stares. Some were curious, some were impressed. Too many were hostile that a woman officer in a combat unit always attracted attention, but not the kind that came with respect. She had served 12 years. 2 tours classified beyond clearance. A combat record that never made it to public briefings. And still, every new base treated her like she had something to prove, especially Staff Sergeant Cole Riker. Riker leaned against a Humvee with a grin that never reached his eyes. Broad-shouldered, loud, popular, the kind of man who believed rank mattered only when it favored him. "Well, look who command sent us," he said loudly, making sure the nearby soldiers heard. "Guess standards are really changing." Alyssa didn't stop walking. That annoyed him. During drills, Riker watched her closely. He smirked when others struggled, waiting for her to fail. But she didn't. She matched every pace, every target, every command with mechanical precision. No wasted movement. No hesitation. That only made things worse. The tension finally snapped during hand-to-hand training. The soldiers formed a loose circle around the mat. Sweat, dust, and heat hung heavy in the air. The instructor paired fighters quickly, moving down the list. Alyssa Morgan. Cole Riker. "You're up." A ripple of murmurs spread. Riker stepped forward, rolling his neck. "Hope you're ready, Captain." She met his eyes calmly. "Always." The fight started clean. Too clean for Riker's liking. Alyssa blocked his first strike, pivoted and swept his leg, controlled, professional. He hit the mat hard, breath knocked from his lungs. Laughter broke out. Riker's face flushed red. They reset. This time he fought dirty. Elbows thrown late. Grabs that lingered too long. He leaned in close, whispering, "You don't belong here." She ignored it. Focused. Precise. Then it happened. As the round ended and Alyssa turned away, Riker snapped. He lifted his boot and kicked her hard behind the knee. A deliberate, humiliating strike meant not to injure, but to degrade. Alyssa stumbled forward, catching herself just before hitting the ground. The entire training field went silent. The instructor shouted, "Riker!" What the hell was that? But Riker only laughed. "Oops. Guess combat's rough, sir." That laugh would haunt him. Alyssa turned slowly. There was no anger on her face, only resolve. She stepped back on a mat without a word. "I'm not done," she said quietly. The instructor hesitated, then nodded. 30 seconds. Riker smirked. "You sure about that, Captain?" The whistle blew. What followed was not a brawl. It was a lesson. Alyssa moved like water, fluid, relentless, exact. She countered every strike before it formed, controlled his balance, redirected his force. Within seconds, Riker was on the mat again, arm locked, breath ragged. She leaned close enough for only him to hear. "You tried to humiliate me," she said calmly. "Now learn." She released him and stepped back. Riker scrambled to his feet, humiliated beyond repair. The base never forgot that moment. But what no one knew, not yet, was why Alyssa Morgan fought the way she did, or what command had really sent her there for. That truth was coming, and when it did, it would shock the entire base. By sunset, the story had already spread across forward operating base Kestrel. Not the official version. That would come later, but the whispered one. The one passed from bunk to bunk, from guard towers to mess halls. Riker kicked her. She dropped him in seconds. Did you see his face? Cole Riker didn't show up for dinner that night. Captain Alyssa Morgan sat alone near the edge of the mess hall, methodically cleaning her hands with a damp cloth. She wasn't hungry. She hadn't been since the incident. Her mind was already several steps ahead, calculating outcomes, consequences, reactions. She knew men like Riker. She had faced them her entire career. Loud when protected by numbers. Cruel when unchecked. Dangerous when embarrassed. The chair across from her scraped back. Major Daniel Cross sat down without asking. He didn't report him. he said quietly. Alyssa didn't look up. You saw what happened. I saw him assault a superior officer, Cross replied. That alone is enough to end his career. Then you know why he'll make it worse if I push now. Cross studied her. You're used to this. She met his gaze. Unfortunately, the major leaned back. Command wants a debrief tomorrow morning. Formal. Of course they do. There was a pause. And unofficially, Cross added, they're nervous. That got her attention. Nervous about what? About you. The next morning, the base assembled on the main parade ground. The sun was brutal, the silence sharper than gunfire. Soldiers stood in rigid formation. Officers lined the front. Riker stood at attention, jaw clenched, eyes burning with restrained fury. Alyssa stood 3 places down, calm as stone. The base commander, Colonel Harlan Voss, stepped forward. Yesterday, he began, conduct occurred on this base that violated every standard we uphold. His eyes locked on Riker. Staff Sergeant Cole Riker, you are charged with insubordination, assault, and conduct unbecoming. A murmur rippled through the ranks. Riker snapped. Permission to speak, sir. Voss raised an eyebrow. Denied. But Alyssa spoke. Permission, Colonel. Every head turned. Voss hesitated, then nodded. Granted. Alyssa stepped forward. I don't want him punished because of me, she said evenly. I want him punished because of what he represents. Riker laughed bitterly. Figures. She turned to face him fully for the first time since the kick. You thought humiliating me would restore your pride, she said calmly. But you weren't attacking me. You were attacking discipline. Voss studied her closely. Captain Morgan, there's more to you than your file says. She met his eyes. Yes, sir. The colonel exhaled. Then it's time everyone hears it. The projector flickered on. What followed stunned the base into absolute silence. Mission footage. Redacted names. Night vision operations. Kill confirmations. Rescue extractions under fire. Enemy strongholds neutralized. The voiceover began. Captain Alyssa Morgan. Call sign Valkyrie. Gasp spread. She served in Joint Special Operations Task Force Orion. Classified sniper and tactical combat advisor. Credited with 47 confirmed high-value neutralizations. 0 civilian casualties. Riker's face drained of color. Her methods are taught at 2 military academies under anonymous doctrine. The screen went dark. Colonel Voss stepped forward. The woman you try to humiliate, he said, is the reason 3 of you are standing here alive today. He turned to Alyssa. She requested reassignment here to evaluate unit cohesion. The word hit like a hammer. Evaluate. You failed, Staff Sergeant Riker, Voss said coldly. And you exposed a problem we will fix. Riker tried to speak. No sound came out. Effective immediately, Voss continued. You are relieved of duty and pending court-martial. Guard stepped forward. A.S. Riker was led away. He finally looked at Alyssa. Not with hatred, but with something closer to fear. Weeks passed. The base changed. Training intensified. Respect replaced mockery. Discipline returned where arrogance once lived. Soldiers began seeking Alyssa's guidance. Not because she demanded it, but because she earned it. One evening, a young private approached her near the firing range. Ma'am, he said nervously, I heard what he did to you. She nodded. I just wanted to say thank you for not letting it slide. Alyssa smiled faintly. If we let disrespect live, it grows. The base would remember that lesson for years as her deployment ended. Colonel Voss met her at the helipad. You could have destroyed him, he said. Instead, you changed the base. That was the mission. The rotors spun up as the helicopter lifted into the sky. Soldiers watched in silence. Not out of fear, but out of respect. Some lessons are loud. Others echo forever. Pushpin, you're watching this powerful story on the channel, Her Brave Stripes. Don't forget to subscribe for more fearless stories of courage and strength. Speech Balloon, tell us in the comments. Where are you watching from? Fire if you want another, even more intense story like this. Just say the word.